Okay, this is my round 2 game from the Hearts Congress, and I should have noted which Cutmore I was playing. The Cutmore brothers, the 2 twins, were both playing at this tournament, and one of them's David, one of them's Martin. I have no idea now which one I played. Anyway, because I've just got Cutmore on my score sheet. Okay, but maybe I played him before in this line, so maybe we could determine from the previous video annotation of this same line against Cutmore, which is it, David or Martin? So that's a question for your viewers. Can you help research that? Okay, so d4 knight f6. I assume they don't share exactly the same opening repertoire. So the King's Indian, and I think they're both stronger on the weekend games. They both seem to do very well, but this was quite, I thought, powerfully played by White. Very accurate play. And I think, well, one of them was saying that in tournaments they've been getting like over 200 performances, but it's just the league games letting down their rating. Now in this line, I mean, I've played them before, but I didn't want to abandon my King's Indian just because someone's got a pet line against it, and I wasn't totally sure if it was that great, this idea. Okay, the 4 pawns attack, and the standard move is d5. Okay, so far so good. And now after e6, the standard idea I thought before was, bishop e2. As far as I know, that's been the main line for ages and ages and ages. But there's a new idea in this, just to weaken the black king side. Now during the week, I didn't think it was that effective when I last played him, because I won and I was biased by winning. But this is actually a very difficult position now. After d takes, well, first of all, do I take with the bishop to give myself this d pawn? But maybe that's more solid for the king's safety. These pawns all intact here. Once I use my f pawn, there's a couple of issues here. I've softened my own king. This f file pressure is already sort of blocked by this pawn, which can be cemented with g3. So I just weaken my king here, in effect. And also e5s are going to be difficult because of knight d5, and these 2 pawns are ready to reinforce that knight. A bishop on d3 will be ready to slice through these 2 weaknesses later. So White's got a very interesting system here. So bishop d3, so really e5, knight d5 is ready, and it's uncomfortable. I think I played the same sort of plan as my previous encounter with him. I played knight h5 just to sort of provoke weakness in inverted commas. I don't know, they're quite theoretical at the moment, these light square weaknesses. So knight c6, thinking, well, the d4 square might be a bit weak, so I play now knight d4. He plays bishop e3, and now I think, well, given I've weakened these light squares, maybe this diagonal will be useful. If I stick a bishop on c6, that might be a good plan. So bishop d7. But now this kind of provocative move, basically knight g5. I'm thinking, okay, what do I do about knight g5? What is this knight g5? Couldn't I just gain the tempo? I know I'm weakening my king slightly, but is that tempo useful if I try and gain the tempo of h6? And also, White's potentially threatening something nasty like e5, knight takes h7, and then queen takes h5. So let's see. Actually, let's engine check this position. It's uncomfortable, I think, for black. I don't know what you guys think. I really think this position is already uncomfortable myself. I'm biased, of course. Oh, Rybka's giving h6, and then it's changed its mind to e5. So e5 is a bit of a concession for the previous note. Surely e5. What about just knight d5? Oh, here e takes f4 is a problem. Oh, because of queen g5. Ah, this might be good. There's a tactical liability here. Knight takes f4 would blow right away. Okay, so there's a big tactic which I didn't see, a tactical idea. So maybe e5 is not such a bad thing here in this position with this knight on g5. It's undermining g5. But if f5, knight f6, Rybka's giving black, no, still a tiny advantage for white. Takes, maybe a significant advantage now after knight d5. So it's a very interesting new line against the King's Indian. Well, I don't know what to say about this. I don't know, do I give up the King's Indian against certain players because they've got pet lines that, even if I've beaten them before in those pet lines, do I try and vary? Maybe it's good to keep mixing it up to avoid people's pets. I don't know. Bishop d7 anyway. So knight g5, I play h6. So I've weakened my king even further. White's significantly better really. And knight takes, queen takes. There is a real threat now of coming to g4, which I underestimate, of course. I think this is very, very cheeky moving the queen here, but it's effective. You know, it attacks these two. The thing is, e5 is also on the cards now, so queen e8, e5, which I'd factored in. I thought I'd do a Petrosian-like exchange sacrifice to expose these weaknesses on this diagonal. I played rook f5. Now, Rybka objectively hates this for black. Of course, the strongest move is forget about winning the exchange. Just play clinical e takes d6, and c5 is now weak. And this is all very nasty. And after b6, just play queen d1, quiet retreat, threatens g4. White's clearly better. Big advantage to white. But anyway, he played queen e2. Okay, so less good. And he allows me to take on e5. And the exchange strat is almost justified here, if I had taken the right way, especially, which I didn't, because I'm biased. I take with the g-pawn. Now, why do I take with the g-pawn? Because I'm thinking, you know, g-file attack, queen g6, knight f4's later, this bishop on the diagonal, coordination between all these guys on the white king. That's what I'm thinking. That g6 is tasty. But if I looked at this very carefully, this position, forget about the g file for a moment, e takes f5 might actually be the strongest move, because again there's an f4 problem here. Say bishop takes, e takes, white has to play very accurately to survive this. Takes for example. Now here, you know, there's some big threats. Rybka's giving rook fe1. Now say that accurate move is not played, say a sloppy move, g takes f4 is played here. You can see that the black bishops are, you know, sort of very strong here, but this is better for black. b6 first. Where's the bishop going? So say it goes to d6, then there's bishop d4 check. So it has to actually retreat to f2 to keep this diagonal. And then there's knight f4, and black's better. So but actually in this position, the one move which might still give white an advantage is rook fe1, or keep it at least equal. Okay, so just if rook d8, then the other rook can come to d1, and if bishop e5, then bishop a7. But it's about equal here, and this is what I should have gone for. But because I'm biased, because I like attacking, I play g takes f5. Totally optimistic, overly optimistic. He just takes on e5. And he's leaving my bishop sort of loose, and h6 loose, and c5 is loose. This is a loose position. It's theoretically lost, I would say. But I take on c3, thinking I might have some compensation on this diagonal for the exchange. So queen g6, and I've got this idea. I'm just going to create a battery on the g file. I'll play knight takes g3, and that'll be the end of the game. I was quite optimistic, but this is all an illusion. Just bishop d6. And the truth of it, aside from the illusion, is that the bishop is also supporting this kind of coordination on my dark squares. So any idea like this is going to be hindered by just bishop e5, blockading these pawns, protecting g3, and a rook to d1, you know, d7. So this bishop is actually tied down. And if I allow the queen into e5, there might be other horrors lurking there. So it's not a pleasant position. So actually I stop the queen coming to e5. I play bishop e4, and it is going downhill. So knight f6, bishop e7. But I could have, you know, he invited a repetition here. I should have just done the repetition move if he really wants to repeat. Just accept a draw straight away. But no, I play king h7, thinking I might have something, but I haven't got anything. Okay, I close the entry point now by playing bishop c6. But, you know, white's the exchange up with total control over this position. Rook d4, you know, you can even consider, you know, rook h4s, and other stuff soon. I play rook f8, even rook g4 might be on the card soon. But here I accompany this move with a draw offer, a well-timed draw offer. And thankfully, I don't know if it's because I've got a higher rating or something. It does mean something. He agreed a draw instead of trying to just grind me down here. He's the exchange up after all. Let's engine check this position. So I'm relieved in this round 2 game to have just drawn it from a really dodgy position. But I think maybe I shouldn't have gone into this his pet. He really is guru in this pet line, and so it's like a specialist subject on Mastermind. Why go into it? I mean, here, even Rook G4. Okay, Rook D6 is given by Rybka. But Rook G4, yeah, that's what I was looking at. Rook G4 is given as another move as well. Big advantage to white. So I've got this nasty pin. So my queen's driven back. Okay, so now Rook H4. So the knight's now driven back. Now Bishop F4. So something has to be done about H6. Let's say Knight G8. This matches our post-mortem actually a bit. Now Rook D1. So say Queen G6. Is Black holding on here? I would find this hard to believe. But let's try and defend it here now. Queen E5, so everything's invading and blockading at the same time and attacking all my dark square and my light square points. Is Black cracking? That's the question. C5, say. Okay, let's play a non-committal, non-pawn move. Queen F7. Can White make progress? Now, if White can't make progress, then maybe there's something about this, that the engine hates it for Black theoretically, but where's the breakthrough? Where is it? It would, because just giving C4, okay, I'll go back to F7. Where's the breakthrough? See here, there's Queen E2 or Queen or King F1. This is like planless. Where's the breakthrough? Say Queen E2, I'll go back to G6. So I don't understand. Rybka, I don't think it's beyond the horizon now where the breakthrough is. This might actually be a drawable fortress, even though it's plus 2.07. But where is the breakthrough? Queen E3, okay, ties down the queen to G6. Is Black getting frozen? Well, there's King G7 here. So say this position. I'll go back. Fortress. Maybe it is a fortress because this bishop is on that diagonal. It's protecting D7. It's protecting B7. These two guys are solid. These pawns are doubled here. Is this a fortress? That's an interesting question, actually. In our post-mortem, it seems we also stumbled across the same idea that maybe Black could hold it in some lines. But so maybe it was a logical draw offer, saving a bit of time.